Assalamu alaikum, you guys. One of you wanted me to share my revert story. So it wasn't really one particular thing. I was always a spiritual person. Always, I believed in God. I went to church. My family has a background in, Baptist, Pentecostal. I was married to a pastor for 5 years. But even with all that, I still felt empty. Even being first lady, I felt empty. I felt like I was cosplaying. I always had so many questions that, were never really able to be answered directly. And it was always a lot of interpretation. If you get what I'm saying, like it was a lot of, oh, well, it says this, but this is, how we take that, or it says this, but this is really what we do, or you don't really have to do it like this. Nothing was really like precise. Nothing was really direct. Nothing was really, this is this, this is this, this is this. If that makes sense. So throughout the years, I've dabbled in a lot of things. I was deep into African spirituality. I had my crystals, I had my candles. Like, I was all over the place, y'all. I was all over the place. And so throughout all that searching, I stumbled across Islam. Initially, it felt like, oh no, this is, like this is a lot, or like this is too much. Now, in hindsight, that's exactly what I needed. And, ironically enough, the more I learned, the harder it became to ignore the peace. And that's the key word here. The peace and the reassurance that it gave my mind and my heart. And that's the truth. That's the one thing throughout my life that I have always been searching for, and that is peace. I grew up in chaos and, instability, no structure, no discipline, just aimlessly going about. And I knew I craved that. And the more I learned and the deeper that I got into Islam and the more I read the Quran, that's exactly what it gave me. That's exactly what Allah gave me. Peace. Reading the Quran, it felt different. It didn't feel like a storybook. It didn't feel like indirect. It felt direct. It didn't feel like condemnation. It felt like Allah was seeing me. It felt like a calling. That's what it felt like. It felt like, Islam didn't ask me to be perfect. It asked me to be sincere. And nobody's perfect. And I just knew, like, yeah, that's how it should be. Like, I'm sincere. I am sincere. I can strive to be my best. I can sincerely believe this. I can sincerely do that. I can truly believe something, but I don't want to have the fear that, like, if I mess up one time, that's it for me. Or, if I mess up this time, that, oh, God is just gonna turn away from me. And like I said, it was just a feeling that peace again. That's what I needed. And Allah gave it to me exactly how I needed it, especially when I needed it. Because at the time that I took my Shahada, I was at my lowest. And this is when I kind of really was researching and diving deeper to try to find something that would hold me, something that would comfort me. One of the things that, really called to me was the structure. It wasn't a structure that felt restrictive. It was, for me, a structure that healed me. It gave my life, rhythm. It gave, me purpose. It gave me accountability. Praying 5 times a day doesn't feel like a chore, or it doesn't feel like a burden to me. If anything, it pauses me. If anything, it slows me down. It allows me to regulate my breathing. It allows me to calm down. It allows, my body to kind of get into a state of, calm. The very things that I was craving in my life, the peace, the structure, even things at its core, like, my life is so chaotic and I need to find time to, sit down, or I need to find time to make time for myself. Islam has given me that. This is the reason that made me go, oh yeah, I'm about to take the Shahada. How they honor and see their women. it was such a mystery. When I was researching, I was like, oh my gosh, they look so beautiful covered up. Like, they were so soft, like the softness of a Muslim woman, the strength that a Muslim woman has. You know, they weren't loud or like performative. If anything, to me, it looked like grounded. It looked like, so it's like you have, to me, I was like, these women have to have the most confidence. Like, you got to have the most confidence walking around, you know, like this, or to be covered up and still be feeling like I feel beautiful right now. Like, I know I'm beautiful. I like that I'm not objectified. I like that, you know, I'm not minimized. I like that, you know, you have to listen to what I'm saying, or you have to get to know me and my mind and, you know, and my intellect before anything else. It fit right, because once again, I come from a Baptist and Pentecostal background, so I had to wear the long skirts. You know, you had to be covered up. You needed, you know, if your skirt at church wasn't, you know, wasn't past your knees like that when you sit down, you had a prayer cloth, you know, over you to cover you up. Islam felt easy to step into. And, you know, just as a woman, you know, Islam protects, you know, my value, my soul, like my dignity. And, you know, it was just a beautiful thing. Yeah. And so, you know, I didn't revert because, you know, someone convinced me, or, you know, I had Muslim friends, or I didn't know anything. I just, like I said, I had been searching for so many, you know, different things, or, you know, going through so many different religions or so many different beliefs. And, you know, I found Islam, and it gave me a feeling of, you know, belonging. And how could I turn away from that? My life has been, in this short amount of time, I've been a revert for 4 months. In this short amount of time, this is the happiest that I've ever been. I'm not saying every day, you know, is a great day, obviously, because, you know, outside circumstances, things happen. But at the core, you know, when it counts and when it matters the most, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm naturally like a stressful, you know, uptight person. I always say all the time, like, gosh, I'm so wound up. Like, I'd stress less. What am I stressing for? What am I worried about? Like, you know, for what? I give it to Allah, and that's it. That's it. I don't need to worry about anything. Like, He's gonna sustain me. You know, He loves me. I'm a believer. You know, so that's my story. Like, you know, it was truly, like they tell you in the church, come as you are. Islam felt exactly like that. Just come. And that's what I did.